Welcome back, guys, to Metaphor ReFantazio, our last episode. With Luis refusing to give up even with the sky's change heralding in a new dawn, we managed to manifest the hero's archetype of the king to cut him down for good and end the threat, with Will being declared king by Hypnodeus V as he and his other half faded away, proud of their son. With the new king's coronation going off without a hitch, we then skipped forward a year into the future to a capital city recovered from the events of our story, with Will now sneaking around as we start our final sweep of Grand Trad. To think that the king of our country would sneak over to my tavern without so much as a single bodyguard with him. You never change, do you? But this city hasn't changed either. Sunshade Row isn't as safe as one might hope it would be under your rule. Still, why didn't you pay Maria a visit before you head back to the palace? It'd definitely make her day. Well, here we go. Sweep it is.
Cheers.
Oh, visiting His Majesty in the flesh. Visiting the honeybee again. You're quite the whimsical one, aren't you? I doubt you still need someone to covertly sniff around in order to supply you with information, but I must say, it was a pleasure doing business with you. No, I do need that. I can understand why Alonso likes you so much, yeah. Where is Alonso? He's my prime minister, right? I know he likes doing work within the shadows, but there's a point of having him like right in the mix. Isn't that what he basically said he'd become and do for me? He needs to be in the political battlefield. In the quagmire that is.
Eh?
Eh? Oi, oi, it isn't mug I haven't forgotten. You're the king now, ain't ya? The first time I saw you was the night before the royal funeral, if I recall. No offense, but you didn't exactly look like a prince. To think you'd go on to take down the notorious Luis and seize the crown for yourself, I couldn't make up such a story if I tried. But speaking of wild stories, can you do something about Sunshade Row? What's bothering you about it? Well, you know the rep old Sunshade Row has. Poor, dirty, but people still struggle to put food on the table here. Have been for a long time. You're a good bloke and I think you'll make a fine king, but don't think you could just spruce the place up a bit and that'll solve the problem. He doesn't mince words, but I'm glad he's being honest at least. Yeah. Well, equally, I mean, people never want to hear this. It's a weird thing about like even democracy, right? 1 year is not enough time to affect meaningful change because then someone can come along and completely destroy it. 4 years of like terms for like governments and in the free world, we could say, you know, where we've not got like an autocrat or like a monarch that's actually ruling or anything like that, or dare I say it, the most evil people taking over a land and never letting it out of their grasp. They fail because they're kind of usually crap. But when we're like flipping between governments every 4 years, that's also kind of not enough time to inflict meaningful change because as soon as the other side gets in, they kind of demolish everything. We are stuck in a bit of a crap because of that. It's like, it's hard to change things. I think in a year, probably Will has done a lot. A very, very lot. But also barely scratched the surface. It takes a lot of time. Now, if Will is a good leader and grows into his role, he has a lot of time to do it. But even in that, he might end up like instating stuff like parliament, etc. Like things to allow the people to have more choice and rule and take more power away from himself. He should do. But then again, the wheels get muddy, so it's going to be like, the progress here. And we're only seeing 1 year into the future.
Come now.
When you finish your business outside the palace, please promise me you'll return to resume your duties, Your Majesty. If you take this as my pressuring you not to venture out, that's not it at all. Only that as captain of the Royal Guard, I must know your whereabouts at all times. Do you know what? Like, it'd be nice to have a government system, right? Where a government is there 4 years, and then the next government builds upon it. That would be that's the true fantasy. That's the true fantasy. Not tear it down, build upon. No. Maybe Will can put that kind of thing into action, I don't know. If you take this as my pressuring you not to venture out, that's not it at all. Only that as captain of the Royal Guard, I must know your whereabouts at all times. You were asking a lot there, Sam, I know, right? Wow, the formality. Sounding awfully formal there, Hulkenberg. Well, that is, think of your station. How else would the knight's captain address the land's king? To be over familiar would set a poor example. Imagine the scandalized faces of the rank and file guard.
Of course.
I said not a day goes by that I don't reflect on our travels now only a year past. I owe regaining my pride as a knight to that journey. I was but a wanderer searching in vain for the prince, and it was through you I learned he yet lived, and in the end it was your ascent to the throne I supported.
And so,
I never tire of the faces the younger guards make when I tell them of the time you acted as witness to my duel. Ah, Rodolphe. Ah, you mean your duel with Rodolphe? Yes, thanks to you I was able to face him with eyes forward and put my past behind me. I'm pleased to say the knights of today are nothing like they were under Rodolphe's command. Soldiers take up their sword not for those in power, but for the people. And as the champion of the people yourself, we will do all in our power to protect you, our king.
well,
You do not make it easy by sneaking out of the palace as you do, though I suspect the soldiers are getting used to your chaotic tendencies. They know they protect not just a king, but a ruler who stands beside his people and hears their voices in clarion truth.
this
I will protect you with my life, as I have always endeavored to do, your majesty. Only let me stay by your side to do so.
What do you want to do?
There's still other people we can talk to, but do you want to go see Maria now? No, we will talk to everyone before going on to Maria.
You're not serious. All right then.
Question is, where is everyone? There's a fair few people on Sunshade Row. We obviously want to hit a Regolith Grand Cathedral last. Sunlumeo Street has a fair few too. By the look of the man of hands, all my friends are here.
So, we meet again.
Ah, that's you. It's been quite some time, hasn't it? Ever since the new king's reign, matters have changed a great deal for the tribe's teachings. I feel there's been more people who wish to learn of our teachings and culture, much like you once did before. I wish I could say we were free to worship as we please, but that's a dream still among the clouds for the moment. And yet being able to dream it is evidence instead of itself of progress. It is satisfying for now that more people are open-minded like you.
This is all right.
Still can't believe it, no matter how many times I see it. The king walking out of the honeybee. The city's pretty much back to how it was compared to this time last year. If Louisa had ended up king, who knows where we'd be now. There was that old tournament nonsense. Nobody could keep their mouth shut while that was going on. As far as a damn fool like me was concerned, the whole lot of you might as well have been telling the truth. You and Louise were just two sides of the same coin. Take no offense, will you? Not like I could tell a lie from the truth if I tried. To be honest, him saying it's back to how it was before the whole debacle is still a massive amount of progress.
Peace.
The debacle was bad.
It's just too much.
You lived in a giant sandwich to research bugs, that was you. Quite right, and gold beetles from all over the kingdom as well. Insects are vital to understanding the essence of magic. And here I thought their own use was disgusting Martyrian cuisine. What a find. Say, what would you say to lending your wisdom to my shop? We could do business in the open now, thanks to the king. Oh, I'm gratified by the offer. Another supports my research. I'm shocked he didn't get shat out. That's a phrase. Hey, I'm your king. I got pooped. I got very pooped. Sandy poop.
Peace.
Put that in the annals of legend. Oh, wait a second, it's annals. Never mind.
Oi.
The corpses and the people crouching next to them along Sunshade Road seem to have cleared out lately. Well, that's good. A frightful thing, really. They seem terrified of something themselves. Made me anxious just to look at them. I do hope they're feeling like themselves again. It'd be nice to think they found their happiness somewhere out there. Hey, Alonso, with... Hopefully that wasn't all your bowls of wine. You know, what they say about day drinking.
Pleasure to see you.
Why, hello, your majesty. It's only been a year since your coronation, but I see you've become quite apt at sneaking away from your palatial duties. Under constant fire from knaves of all trades, con artists and critics alike, your opening act has been rather tumultuous, no? Yeah, it must have been tough going.
Man.
Yes, it's been tough, but I'm glad we've managed so far. Quite right, your critics are loud and open with their bars, but plenty more put their faith in you. Besides, most of those agitators are the kind of scum that stirs the pot in hopes that they might benefit from the country's turmoil. Lots of them going around. Nothing I couldn't handle, of course. All in a day's work for the royal adjutant to the Citizens' Council. Quite an ally I've made, I should hope.
Hey.
I wonder if my mother would be the slightest bit proud to see who I've become. That I'm doing my damnedest to use my talents for good, as I always should have. I'm sure she would. No doubt in my mind.
Yes.
I hope so. I was such a problem child. I'd like to make this a country where honest folk like my mother can be happy.
Now that you mention it.
That reminds me, do you remember Dataram, my hometown's landowner? He told me to send you his regards. He has since confessed his crimes and is awaiting trial. You were the one who awakened his conscience. It makes sense, doesn't it? You've proven your ideals to be true. That's why the country is doing so well. There's nothing more to it. I'm hardly qualified to speak of pride, but if this country has one, it's you. And I am proud to be among its people. Perhaps under your rule, the day will come that even we Nydia can walk about freely in our true forms. You're curious what I look like in my true form? I'd be happy to oblige, but let's save that for another time, shall we?
Ain't this a pickle?
Now you were missing. Okay, what are you doing? That's the interesting point of this. Have you stayed away from central government in a sense, and you're working on the people's side? That would sound like you, Baz. But you still might be like, curiosity.
Yo.
Hey, out inspecting again. Seems a right pain to me, but I appreciate you going to all the effort. Are you like the local city guard leader then? Because I'm assuming like you're the head of the royal guard. No, you're head of. She's Hulkenberg's personal bodyguard captain, right? You're head of the rest of them, I think. Parapus, Eugene. What's Baz then? I want to know what Baz is. Stroll is like Hulkenberg's captain of the royal guard, but like. Why are you? He's made commander of the Royal Knights. Okay, that's the one. It's just like they're all the same thing. They're all armed people. It's hard to beat. So like, Baz, where are you? Stroll is obviously the general because he's wearing the same gear as Luis. That was like the easiest one to come up with in terms of title. He's obviously leading the army now. That makes sense. Hey, out inspecting again. Seems a right pain to me, but I appreciate you going to all the effort. Making your rounds, Basilio.
Hey.
Yep, Captain of the Tradian Brigade reporting in. And I'm pleased to report that there's nothing to report, Your Majesty, so I'm taking a break. Tradian Brigade. Bit of a mouthful, isn't it? Still not used to calling myself a captain, besides. We've been taking in some survivors from Luis's troops, you know? But don't you worry, I've got 2 eyes on them, even when I ain't looking. The way I see it, they weren't the ones trying to make the world worse. I just got to show them how power is supposed to be used, yeah? And they won't turn into humans, so go them. We owe it to you that there's less discrimination in the city these days. Fewer and fewer are turning to a life of crime to make ends meet. If Del could see Grand Trad today, his eyes would bug out. Not just Del, the other guys who didn't make it. Yeah, Vinka. I take it you mean Vinka.
Yeah.
You remember him? Those damned experiments tried to make a vengeance he couldn't see past, but I feel like even he might smile seeing what I'm up to now. We built this piece with a lot of blood and tears, so I say those of us who made it this far owe it to all of them, what didn't protect it. Maybe I've got nothing to report today, but it's not like bad people just stop being bad because you're king now.
Thank you.
You've been through a lot though, so thanks for not giving up on us, or the world for that matter. You spot any trouble that I didn't spot first, you just point me at it. I'll solve it quick like. I want to know where the Tradian Brigade sits in like, are you like a separate entity? Is it like a brigade of the people, maybe? Or are you part of the army? Oh well, I see our king is out on some personal business, eh? It's a lovely hat you've got. I believe Hulkenberg was searching for you, but I suppose it's none of my business who comes or goes. I'm on break myself. Only try not to frustrate your royal guards over much, They will take their duties quite seriously, much like their captain. Who am I kidding? A knight who smiles is surely a myth. That's become clear to me since becoming titled. What could be more bizarre? A U-Chief outcast, once a wanted criminal with a bounty on his head, made knight commander. There was, of course, some opposition at first, but the more heart-to-heart talks I've had, the more accepting they've become, albeit gradually. Did you beat them all up? Did you show them your agility? An outcast became king too. They didn't look further than the outcast became their king.
True.
Indeed, you face no shortage of persecution, and look at you now. Grand titles and posts across the nation are no different, spread across all of the tribes. I've realized over the past years just how much a nation is defined by its people. No matter how great a king, he alone does not a country make.
However,
And he stands for those very people, as symbol and representative. That the king and those around him are of mixed tribes, it has already caused a great shift in sentiment, even for those in the rural villages. How is
Now
Tadari?
that you mention it.
yes.
He seems as busy as he can handle, now that they've resumed trade with other villages. Your coronation inspired their village to greater heights. It proved that barriers can be broken, and that even they could take the first step. New winds are blowing in every corner of this country. I'll have to make another trip back home with my son to see the changes for myself soon enough. And someday, I hope distant generations will grow up only knowing conflict born of tribal differences from history
We
books.
shall.
We've a ways to go before that day comes, but until it does, let us forge the path toward it, Your Majesty.
This place has really changed.
Your Majesty, what are you doing in this wretched sinkhole over? It may be better than it was before, but this is still Sunshade Row. It's no place for a king, Your Majesty. Fewer folk are hanging for nothing these days, but there's still no shortage of knaves who'll die at the end of a rope here. As long as there's injustice, there'll be people who think it gives them a free pass, which means there'll be gallows. Last year changed a lot, big and small. I'll hold my post here, hoping that next year's better rather than worse.
This place has really changed.
Yep, it's still there.
This place.
Last year they were so awful, but lately the gallows are hardly getting any use. They look brighter, but I think that's just the overall shade on everything now, if you know what I mean.
Don't want to go back to the old
I'm just
Neither Louis nor Forden took the crown. It was an Eldar of all people. Guess our bets were completely off the mark. Yeah, well, something stinks about it. Magic was at work, so who knows? Did you hear the rumor? They're saying those disgusting humans are our ancestors. Nothing but crazy stories since the new king took the throne. The king held it together this year, but who knows if he'll last another. What? Whoa, Eldar, you really became king. King, hey king, oh king, ha ha ha. Shh. You might be king, but nothing will change. You'll forget about me. You'll forget I was even here. I'll help all who need it in the end. But it requires so much social reform. It requires so much. I can't just give you a house because a house has to be built. You know, I say that when in this world there's so many houses that are just multiple house owned and etc. Yada, but that's real politics. You know what I mean? There's so many houses available and we don't house people. But like in this place, it probably is that kind of scenario. I can't just give you money. It'd be better to give you a job. I have to create a job or hope there's a job out there, which means I'd have to educate. It's like such a hard process to put everything in order that probably wasn't there to begin with. I mean, after all, the Parapus with Katharina are only just starting to get like a center where they could be educated and actually work to getting a job. So I doubt like that's just in, you know, Montario, wherever it's Montario? Thingy Heights? Alderberry Heights, that's the one. That's just over there. We need to set up these systems here. Just house them all in the palace, surely. Bound to have room there. Oh yeah, why not? I'm up for that. I'll help all who need it. It just takes time. Help, you say? You've been saying that a lot, haven't you? I've been watching you for a while, for a long time here in the corner of the city. I hate people who look, see a Parapus like me with no place to go and pretend they see nothing. Don't forget that. I've talked to you every time. Seems rumors of the king running about in Sunshade Row were true. I have no intention of prying now. Thanks to you besting Luis, I get to keep running my shop. Wasn't sure I could with the sky turning red there. Not sure we could take another war. It shouldn't happen. It's reassuring to hear that from the king himself. Still, nothing goes quite the way you expect to, eh? As long as people worry, people will want weapons, so I guess I'll be in business a good while longer. Who is there for us to go to war with?
You're kidding.
Alright, been a while now. You must remember me. I'm Sergeant Glecom the Great. You're drunk as usual then. Well, you see, that's the thing. End of the year is a perfect time for a flagon, eh? Then again, every day's a perfect time for a flagon. But, you know, I've been trying to cut back, actually. When we lost Fidelio, God rest his soul, drink was the only thing that kept me from going mad.
I guess.
Certainly couldn't follow Luis after that, so leaving the Charadris was sound. But still hard for a Parapus to find decent work. Drinking my life away seemed the way to go. I assumed all of us from Luis's side who survived would have been sent straight to the gallows, but letting us join the brigade. Well, real generous of you. Not sure I would have fit anywhere else, speaking plain. Plus, with old Basilio in charge, we're feeling right at home. Now I'm back to drinking for the fun of it, and I owe it all to you, Your Majesty. You're all right.
Thank you kindly.
Thank you kindly.
Welcome.
Why my, if it isn't His Majesty, you always were partial to Sunshade Row, weren't you? I know you've hardly had a chance to warm that throne of yours, but the people here are as poor as they've ever been. Money's the only way anyone gets out. It was big news that the Mage Academy reopened to anyone, but think about it, only the rich can travel up a mountain. Sorry, I shouldn't talk your ear off about the politics. There's a new year to ring in. Looking forward to a more relaxing new year without all the frantic work. Have a happy new year yourself, Your Majesty.
Thank you.
So what you're saying is I need to instate a gauntlet runner service to work for the underprivileged, or more to the point, possibly to work for free.
Oh, really nice.
I'll be on it. Why, your majesty, surely your kingness has no further need of my paltry sums for your mag. Besides, I hear the Mage Academy has been restored. Is it true anyone of any status can attend? Original magic. You trying to end reliance on igniters? Only a matter of time till accumulators like this are obsolete then. I think that's great personally. It's probably about time to shut this operation down anyway. Not that I expect the Igniter Consortium will let it go without a fight. Like Cohen would stand with you, of course, but they're not infallible either.
All very nice.
Oh no, not him.
Well, well.
Oh, your majesty, running around Sunshade Row at this time of year? You must have some very particular taste. Why are you here then? Perhaps you've heard, there's unrest across the land as the oppressed are rising up in revolt against their oppressors.
Yes.
Perhaps that news hasn't reached your walled garden here in Grand Trad. History books may not be kind to this era. Shouldn't they rise up? Goodness, if I didn't know any better, I'd say you just endorse rebellion. When you realize how your dangerous ideology has become the spark of new threats, the dim-witted of the world only fan the flames with their anxiety. Be it people or monsters, to be dissatisfied is in our nature. Humanity sparks the flame that will burn it down. I mean, that's very true in a sense.
Your patronage.
Oh,
is
it's you.
very
Thanks to your
appreciated.
contributions, our work fighting against discrimination is slowly gaining attention. That the new king is Eldar, with people from every tribe in key positions, is also probably a major factor. Still, we can't expect to end something so deeply rooted with the snap of our fingers. I'm going to keep doing my best to support those who've suffered. It's almost a shame I couldn't put Basilio in a bigger position. Again, like, he had a probably, you know, he knows his words, but he had a lack of education. It meant, like, the job he's doing right now is important, don't get me wrong. But it would have been a good show if we could put him somewhere higher. But obviously we need also the right people in the right places for the right job too.
It's just too much.
Everything's back to normal, except the one thing that mattered. Luis ensured my husband would never come home again. And I'm grateful for you. You stayed by my side and gave me courage during my darkest hour.
That'd be lovely.
Oh, don't say that. You've always cheered me up with your gossip and the funny stories you told. If you're not opposed, I'd like to live on with you. I think together we can deal with whatever comes our way. Yes, you're right. Together we'll make it through, and I'll need your support. Oh, we'll keep on living together, eh?
Oh, but which action?
Hey, Your Majesty, listen to this. We just had a guest in the store claiming to be the chief of Etalia. He said he wanted ingredients for the withering potion they use on the island, and how should I put this? Amastari village chief, he's rather, easy on the eyes, wouldn't you say? Wait, sorry, forget about that. I swear I had a point. I wanted to tell you that all sorts of people come and visit now, and I enjoy doing business more now than I ever did before. Especially when a Denny drops by. Yeah, just look at them legs. Look at them legs. They just won't quit. They're so long. They're so big.
Oi there.
All very nice.
No one ever looked at Daddy's legs. What are you talking about? I never looked.
Well, I sure don't.
It's hard not to with what he's wearing. Right, let's start from the bottom of Sunlumeo Street.
This place is really brilliant.
Thanks.
We want to speak to our resident racist. If she doesn't recognize me, I'd be surprised.
Aha.
Hello there, Hey, no, I see something in the background. Hello there, Your Majesty the King. I still remember that night in the city when I first laid eyes on you. The evening of the royal funeral. It was the first time I'd ever seen someone from the Eldar tribe, and I immediately knew that there was something special about you.
Sure we'll meet again.
And I'd say I was right on the money. There. Is that a cat over there? We'll have to look at that closer in a bit.
Oh,
I wonder how things were going to end for a while there, but things seem quite under control now. I'm glad the threatening madman didn't end up king. Still, an upstart from a forgotten tribe has no business slighting the established nobility. Nobility, even. A king with nothing but flowery speeches and ideals will hit a wall before too long. No different than the last king, really. A king's ideals always hit a dead end. We can't slack off on guarding the mag they accumulate just because the country's at peace. Rather, that's precisely why we can't. If even mag dust like this can be abused, we could have another riot on our hands. Powers that shake the world will breed new ambition. Hard to be optimistic about this new regime. Menacing soldier being menacing. Why are you menacing me?
all right then.
I don't understand.
All right.
Be a friend. I'm your king. Be at least pally for that reason. No, okay. To the gallows with you. Oh, I'm a tyrant.
Oi.
I don't need yes men. Behold you lot, we're here. The heart of the country, Grand Trad. Well, I bet even Parapus could find work here now. Suppose it's true what they say. Change the king, the country changes too. Don't get too carried away now. Still plenty folks who'll spit on the ground you walk. Got high hopes for next year, though.
Oi.
Oh, my throat feels weird now. It made a weird noise not too long ago, and I'm like, what?
An elder?
An elder, the king's tribe. Won't catch anyone bad-mouthing them now. Not openly, anyway. What do you think of the current king? In my opinion, he's a victim of the last one. Yeah, kinda. If you think about it, he used the royal magic to put the whole kingdom in chaos, and that's what caused Luis's rebellion in the first place. Who's the real root of all evil here? It was one hell of a gamble. I lost a good number of friends to it all. Could bring myself to mourn the death of the last king. Still can't.
Amazing.
Rest in peace, soulful. Oh, I can go in the gauntlet runner?
All right. Where to?
Oh, I can't go elsewhere, though. I mean, I'm guessing this is where Nurse is, right? Can I have a... Should totally use the toilet. Wait a second. I know we're on the 35th, and that's weird anyway, where we have all the extra days kind of bunked into December. But it's Idle Stay. Where's my luck stat? Oh, I can't have a shower. Oh, I can still check the pantry. The warehouse was neat and tidy. I didn't find anything.
All right.
Dare you? You in here or not? I'm guessing it's been massively repaired. Nurse is out and about on the streets. Some additions have been made to the journal over the past years. I've been decrypting the second half of the old man's notes in my spare time. Recently, the villagers asked me to bake some sweets with the few ingredients we have. Cooking and inventing share a number of similarities, so I've quite enjoyed it. As the villagers goaded me on more and more, I inadvertently compiled an amount of recipes I dare say would put a palace chef to shame. Rather than inventing dangerous tools of war, perhaps peacefully devising new and delicious confection recipes is the highest form of invention. The rest of the notes are full of detailed recipes for baked sweets. Okay. It's possible this ignite was prepared for me so I could learn about this country. Yeah. So Nurse has become Sweets Man. Oh, Daddy's not in the corner anymore. I wonder if I ever get spoken to by mysterious voice Mummy. I feel like Mummy will have gone as well now. Can't go to the watchtower, but I can go out on deck. Oh no, I can't. That just leaves. Nurse is there. Oh, ho, ho, what brings His Royal Majesty here? Come to feel the wind on your face too, have you? I know how it is. I have the fancy old title of Chief Engineer of the Kingdom Infrastructure Development Bureau. And can research as I please now, but something's missing. Stop auto. Chief Engineer of the Kingdom Infrastructure Development Bureau. So you're the... Secretary. Okay then. Secretary. So I threw off that stuffy old uniform and came to gaze upon the runner in the way I do. I know how you feel.
About that.
I feel like I know what you mean when you say something's missing. I knew you'd agree. I think my bones are aching to feel the wind. I rather miss the days of dashing hither and thither in the runner. Not that I'm ungrateful for the gracious title you've given to a man who used to skulk about modifying gauntlet runners. You haven't seen anything yet? Why, one day I'll invent a teleportation device that will deliver fresh fish straight from Oceania to your palatial plates. It would change the world, wouldn't you say? I'm just a bit stuck at the beginning on the development.
Indeed.
And it's times like this I need stimulation of the mind. You have anything that might do the trick? Do I smell another relic hunt? That's a weapon hunt, technically. Don't pretend you didn't enjoy it. Every time you'd pop back in with one, I remembered how I could hardly contain my excitement. I do so miss traveling like that. Even if the relics themselves were better off left untouched, they become the guiding principles of my research, you know. Convenience is important, but one must consider safety and the effects it might have on the world. An engineer who dumps a burden on future generations is no engineer at all. Still, it's no small feat to design with perfect balance of safe and revolutionary. Even I struggle with it, and I'm a bally genius. I knew it. What I need is stimulation. Your Majesty. You know, like the soul-shaking speed and quiver of a drive engine. You'll let me know if you ever want to go out for a spin, won't you? Arty roll girl sparkling clean and always ready for takeoff. Yeah. I still remember the day I met you last year, Your Majesty. I felt you had a kind heart, bothering to listen to an old man's folk tales. A sincere young man loved by fairies finds happiness. Folk tales aren't just tired old stories for dreamers. I say they have the power to tell the future sometimes, though maybe that's giving them a little too much credit.
You are.
Now, who's this? His Royal Majesty the King? What's brought you to my little dive? Come to think of it, I said some rude things to you last year. Told you to keep your Eldar head down. No hard feelings. Hey, you got better throughout the time though, didn't you? Tribal quarrels haven't quieted down here at all. Maybe even be worse now that everyone's equal in the eyes of the law. But sometimes fists just need to fly. It's not like it was back when the sky was red as blood and death was everywhere. In fact, it's amusing to see new faces around here. It's a good change, I think. That is true in the fact that sometimes things do need to sort themselves out in time or be able to do so. Hello, you're part of the thing as well.
Oi!
You moron, can't you see I'm busy? Oh, it's you, Your Majesty. Remember me, do ya? Of course. Oh well, seems your reputation of remembering even the faces of those in lower ranks is true. Indeed, I'm Cyber, former maintenance chief of Luis's Gauntlet Runner. I was just examining Your Majesty's Gauntlet Runner as part of my research duties. I recall how astonished I was to see her take to the sky the first time. I wanted to get back to my engineer roots, but then Luis started showing his true colors and the Chiradrius went down. I've got to say, Your Majesty, you're too soft. We used to be enemies, but you recommended us for the brigade and gave us work anyway. Pretty genius making old Basilio the captain too. Luis's old crew will fall in line like wooden soldiers, but I'm not sure that kind of leniency for fortress nations. So off we are. Can't imagine you could afford to waste time on relics like me. Be well, Your Majesty. There is a whole thing about being too lenient as well. It sucks. Your Majesty, do you have something you need with the Gauntlet Runner? All's well's here. You're the Gauntlet Runner Guardians, are you? If it's not overstepping, might I tell you something I've always wanted to say? Do you remember a long time ago when Luis dropped that human on the city? I was actually assigned to duty at the Grand Cathedral that day. The state army was in complete disarray and the soldiers were absolutely terrified, but it was the rumors about you that kept us afloat in these dark times, Your Majesty. You couldn't go a day without hearing someone insult the lesser tribes, and here comes this group led by some Eldar, fighting through the cathedral with no regard for their lives. You'd only known how much the tales of your heroism and courage gave to the guards that day. I couldn't thank you then, so please allow me to do so now. You truly are a hero king, Your Majesty. Truly. Leader.
Hi there!
Hiya, boss. Oh, dang, I suppose I shouldn't be speaking to you so casually, huh? And again, we were rivals, weren't we? Not really. And Caden Workshop's the official workshop of the Palace Engineers now. Not that it's here nor there. Besides, I'm glad you got the crown. Still lots of humans out there you have to deal with, and you'll need a Gauntlet Runner to get to them. Caden Workshop thanks you for your patronage. Oh, I can't believe the owner of the sweet Gauntlet Runner ended up king. But it helped me come to a decision. In the new year, I'm going to go see even more Gauntlet Runners. King's Gauntlet Runner was the best? Well, you better say that. We're off with your head. It's one of the laws. Jin's over there.